Hey, welcome. Today we are getting to the root, and I mean that literally, of a problem that drives so many of us crazy: dandruff. But we're not just going to talk about special shampoos. We're going to look at this through the really cool and ancient lens of Ayurveda to figure out what our scalp might actually be trying to tell us. You know the deal, right? You're wearing your favorite black sweater, and bam, there they are. Or you're just trying to get through your day, but that annoying, persistent itch just will not let you be. It's so frustrating, and it feels like it never goes away. But what if it's more than just a simple case of dry skin? So, before we can even talk about how to fix it, we have to really understand the problem itself. Like, what is dandruff anyway? Let's break down what's actually happening up there in our scalp and why it always seems to get worse the second the weather gets cold. Okay, so at its most basic level, dandruff is just your scalp shedding skin cells, which is something it's supposed to do. The issue is when that whole process goes into complete overdrive. And if you feel like it's 100 times worse in the winter, trust me, you are not imagining it. That cold, dry air is a massive trigger that can make an otherwise happy scalp totally freak out. But it's not always just the weather. There are actually a few other things that could be behind that frustrating flaking and itching. Let's take a look at some of the most common culprits. When you look at these, they're all pretty practical, right? First off, not washing your hair enough. It sounds obvious, but when you let oil, dirt, and sweat just sit there and build up, you're creating the perfect environment for scalp problems. Then you've got allergies. Your scalp might be reacting to something as simple as pollen or that new conditioner you're trying. And of course, there's that cold, dry air we talked about, which just robs your scalp of moisture. All right, now we're going to switch gears completely and look at this from a whole different perspective. Ayurveda, the ancient system of medicine from India, sees dandruff as more than just a skin thing. It sees it as a sign of a much deeper imbalance. And this is where it gets really, really cool. So, what in the world are doshas? Well, in Ayurveda, they're basically the three main energies that make up your body's unique blueprint. You can think of Vata as the energy of air and movement, Pitta is fire and metabolism, and Kapha is earth and structure. When these three are playing nicely together, your scalp is healthy. But when they get out of whack, that's when issues like dandruff start to pop up. And this is where the Ayurvedic approach is so smart. It doesn't just see one type of dandruff, it actually identifies two. So, on one hand, you have dry dandruff. This is caused by an imbalance of that fiery pitta and airy vata. It leads to dryness, irritation, and those little light flakes. But on the other hand, you've got wet dandruff, which is more oily and kind of sticky. That comes from an imbalance of the earthy, heavy kapha dosha. Figuring out which type you have is the absolute key to treating it right. Now, here's the most important part of this whole idea. Ayurveda believes those flakes aren't just dead skin. It sees them as your body trying to push out toxins that have built up deep in the scalp tissues. So the dosha imbalance is the root cause, and the flakes are just the symptom. See? It's a total inside out approach. Okay, so we've got a handle on the problem from both a modern and an Ayurvedic view. Now for the fun part. Let's get into the practical solutions and build an action plan that you can start today, probably with stuff you already have in your kitchen. First up is lemon juice. This one's a classic, and for good reason. The citric acid in it is amazing for cutting through that excess oil, which makes it perfect for that wet, kapha-type dandruff. Just a heads up though, pay close attention to the timing. It's pretty drying, so you definitely don't want to leave it on for too long. Next up, aloe vera. Oh man, if your scalp just feels angry, inflamed, and super itchy, all those signs of a fiery pitta imbalance, this is going to be your best friend. Its cooling and soothing properties give you that feeling of relief almost instantly, while its natural antifungal powers go to work on the actual cause. Okay, this one might sound a little weird, but hear me out. Baking soda works as a fantastic pre-shampoo treatment. Just think of it like a really gentle exfoliant. It helps lift and remove all those dead skin cells from your scalp before you wash your hair, which helps clear the way for a much healthier, cleaner scalp. Tea tree oil is an absolute powerhouse. It's famous for its super strong antimicrobial properties. But listen, with great power comes great responsibility. You
दारू की
have to, and I mean have to, pay
दारू की
attention to step one: dilute it. This stuff is no joke. Mixing it with a carrier oil like coconut oil or even just water is non-negotiable if you want the benefits without any
मलाई
irritation.
मलाई माहिती
And last but not least, apple cider vinegar, or ACV. This one is all about creating balance. Yeah, it has antifungal properties, which is great, but its main superpower here is helping to restore the natural pH balance of your scalp. It basically makes your scalp a much less inviting place for all the little microbes that can cause dandruff in the first place. So, remember that whole inside out approach we talked about? This is where it all comes together. Putting stuff on your scalp is only half the story. Supporting your body from the inside with things like probiotics for healthy gut, omega-3s to fight inflammation, and vitamin C for healthy skin, it can make a huge, huge difference. Okay, so you've tried the kitchen remedies, you're eating all the right things, but what happens if the problem is just really stubborn? Well, Ayurveda has a whole other level of targeted treatments for those really persistent cases. Let's check out the plan. When the single ingredient remedies just aren't cutting it, it's time to call in the specialists. Ayurvedic tradition uses these incredible herbal formulations where lots of different ingredients are combined in very specific ways. The idea is to create a synergistic effect that offers really powerful, targeted relief for those stubborn scalp conditions. Here are just a couple of examples of these traditional oils. Now, I know the names can be a bit of a mouthful, like Nilibringadi or Durdura Pathradi, but what's important is the concept. These are seriously potent blends of special herbs infused into nourishing oils, and they're designed to soothe the scalp and fight flakes way more intensely than a simple home remedy. So this brings us to the final takeaway, your clear three-step game plan. Step 1, start with those home remedies we talked about. Give them a real shot. Step 2, if you're just not seeing the results you want, think about leveling up to one of those targeted herbal oils. And step 3, and this is super important, if the problem still won't go away, it's always a good idea to see a professional to make sure there isn't something else going on. And that brings us to one last thought. Instead of just seeing dandruff as this annoying thing that you have to scrub away, what if we started seeing it as a signal? A message from our body that something is out of balance. Maybe it's our diet, our stress levels, or our environment. It really makes you wonder, what is your scalp trying to tell you? Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.